Oh no. Yeah. Oh,
Hello
hello.
there. Welcome to SJU. Welcome to Two Boys One Stream. Me and my boy Spencer
Spencer
J.
Joe
Gilbert.
Universe,
Hello,
baby.
sir. Spencer Joe
Yeah, it's a
Universe
Spencer.
is what it's all
You're
about.
just living in it.
And speaking of living, let's talk about dying. Um, uh, we've been thinking a lot about Disney themed funerals this week, off camera, and
And the
because
sweet
nothing's
release
happening
of
in
death.
the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the sweet release of death a lot. Like that's a reoccurring thing, sort of behind the scenes over at Screen Junkies. Um, uh, so since nothing's going on today, we figured why not bring it on camera and just talk Disney funerals. So a thing that went viral today, or this week as background on Twitter, was this website, magicalpassings.com, which was a parody site about planning your own Disney funeral. But
They got us though. They got us.
does
I
beg
thought
the
it was
question.
real.
They did get us.
Yeah.
They did get us.
They
I
just
thought
posted the
there was a-
excerpts. Yeah. Bummer. I hate when good things are fake.
I know. Yeah, I was really sad actually. I really wanted because it was so pure in a way. But it got me thinking. Oh, there he is. There's sweet Mickey. Also, when
I always loved him.
I'm gonna give him the sweet kiss of relief. When Kevin, our graphic designer, was like, "What should the thumbnail be?" I was like, "Something like that." But all this got me thinking, Spencer. Should Disney do funerals? The parks are hurting for money. They've gotta come back in a big way once everybody's vaccinated, or we've just given up and whatever.
And dying is a real growth industry these days.
Really is. It really, really is. And obviously, based on the numbers of Disney Plus, Disney's still a big brand. So it's really a match made in heaven. Death, Disney, and then in the Venn diagram, you. So I want to talk about this idea of Disney doing official funerals, like at the park. Spencer, is it a good idea? How should they be done?
Well, I feel like they might as well get involved because people do this anyways.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the number of friends of friends who've had their ashes scattered inside the Matterhorn or Pirates of the Caribbean or in the Dole Whip. There's dead people all over Disneyland. It's like hard drugs. Like you legalize it so that you can do it safely and contain it all in one place. Like The Wire season 3 where they did Amsterdam. It's going to take a bold new initiative to have these Disney branded funerals, but I think we're up to the task. I see there's people who are like down with the D for life. I don't claim to understand it, but I respect it. The people who put on the biker gangs, but just for going to Disneyland. I don't fully get where the money's coming from or what the joy is of your 260th visit of the year. But man, they're going to take Disney to their grave. So just let them have what brings them joy.
Yeah. And might as well make some money off of it. Right. And I agree with you. I think pure Disney fandom is an intense fandom that, obviously I respect, love what you love. I don't understand it. And it's often a little too intense for me. Especially the moment when you find out about it. We had it back when we lived in the Bay Area, we had some friends that we had no idea they were huge Disney files until the 8th time we were at their place, having dinner or something like that. They were like, "Have you seen the Disney room?" And all of a sudden, just everything changes, right? Your whole perception of that person changes.
And then they're wearing a towel.
Have you seen the Disney room? It's like 50 Shades of McKay. That didn't work. But that's it. I think you're absolutely right. I think people do it anyway, which is horrifying because like you're saying, they're going to do it wrong. They're not going to do it safely. You're going to get some ash in your mouth going down the Matterhorn because someone in front of you was trying to do it while the camera snapped a picture.
Oh yeah, the photo during Splash Mountain, and it's like the urn is just going right into the face of the family of 4 behind you.
Just scattering ashes. My churro tastes a little extra coated. So yeah, you might as they might as well just do them officially. But that begs the question, Spencer. Obviously people will pay it. Because like you said, people pay to go 260 times a year. Like there are people I know that go like 3 times a week.
Our producer, Billy Business, will likely be buried in a officially licensed KISS casket. Some people have
100%.
Are up to speed on this. But yes, go on, Joe.
Well, actually, pause. Out of curiosity, is there a fandom that you love enough to be binded with permanently in the afterlife?
God, I would love to be buried. Maybe this is more of a metaphor because this is more of a coffin shaped thing, but it's used for a different purpose. Leeloo Dallas, as she's formed in The Fifth Element, and then they put on the bandages on her. I'd like to be buried in a similar object and costume, just strategically placed ace bandages. While a series of old men leer at my body and go, "He's perfect."
He's perfect. Perfect in death as he was in life. I'm down with that. I like that. I think I want to. I don't know about a specific fandom, but I've been thinking more and more about like a big party, and I'm like frozen. We were watching some like I don't know, the Great British Flower competition or something like that. I don't know. The Great British Wank-Off. It was about gardening, and one of the things they had to do was like they had to put a bunch of flowers in ice, and it was like a big ice sculpture centerpiece with something encased in it. And I was like, I could do that with me.
So you're going like a
big party. Yeah, exactly. And when I melt and then like fall over out of whatever pose I was in, like the party has ended. I think would be a solid end. And then I'm just left for the janitor to sort of push broom away. Sorry. Back to Disney, Spencer. Is there a Disney funeral that you would pay top dollar for? Like characters, songs? Because I've been giving this some thought this morning since I decided that this was what the show was going to be.
Yeah. I mean, some things spring to mind, but I'm not sure how close they are to funerals, but they do involve me dead. One being, I would just like to be my head frozen and locked in a vault with Walt. I would like to be sealed away underneath It's a Small World or wherever that is, along with
I wonder what the criteria for that honor is.
For that honor, yeah, you definitely have to be in Club 33, but then you have to do something like extra to get into like Club 66, and then and then you're in the vault. Then you're vault worthy.
Maybe.
So that's just more of a location I'd like to be placed, or just my head, Futurama style. Yeah. But as far as like a funeral, like a Disney themed funeral that like you could have. I mean, something is interesting to me about having the Tony Stark funeral where everybody important to me along my life's adventures are laid out in like appropriate groups and along a timeline. So I'll have a very specific seating chart in my will of like, oh yeah, that was from when he went to college, and this is from like that summer and stuff like that. So like people just be perfectly arranged as if we're inside a movie.
I like that. It's not that Tony Stark is attending your funeral. It's that you are treated as Tony Stark.
As Tony Stark.
I dig that. Like the mortician.
I do want, and I do want actual Gwyneth Paltrow to set my ashes adrift or whatever that was in the little monument down by the river.
The little heart thing.
Yeah, the little heart thing. And then the other one is more of, I guess this is more of a make a wish than it is a funeral, but. I would like my father to drop me off a cliff after telling me he finally loves me. Thanos style.
Don't we all? Don't we all, really? I dig that. I dig the Tony Stark and Thanos funerals. I was trying to decide if there was like a core Disney funeral that I want. And I just don't feel I'm not that level of a Disney fan, well, I don't know if that's true. Like Chip and Dale, I'm not interested in having a funeral, but maybe the Rescue Rangers, like presiding, would be interesting. But I think I gotta go. Like I gotta have a Na'vi funeral. Like take me to Pandora.
Ooh. Is that a Disney property? Yeah, I guess so. Wow.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they've got the park.
Yeah, put me in that tree.
Put me in that tree. Just lots of Disney park actors painted blue. With like tails attached to them, just doing those while my mother looks on disapprovingly. And I think that's probably my dream funeral.
Yeah, Na'vi one would be great. But yes, it would be blue tie. Everybody would have to be in the full body paint for it to really have the same effect.
Everyone has to be dressed up.
One person is allowed to be out of costume, but they will have to be in a mech with a giant knife arm.
Yes, yeah, and like a scar over their eye.
And Giovanni Ribisi will preside.
Enif Hobbs has a simple request. Can I get my casket pushed down Splash Mountain? I think that sounds fun.
Yes, it's perfectly casket sized.
Yeah, it is absolutely casket sized.
I think that was by design. Walt originally used it to get rid of Irish immigrant animators after he'd worn them out on Snow White. He would just push them down the Matterhorn.
Like you could pay, if you're a slightly more intense Disney fan, you could pay a premium to be the second casket so that you get more of a splash.
Yeah.
I think Enif Hobbs, I think that's a great idea. Let's see, what else does chat say? The Cabraf says, I miss old movie fights. I would also bury old movie fights under a Disney park.
I feel like you're getting the best of movie fights right now. It's like,
I think
who really has the best Disney funeral?
That's what some of you guys don't understand is that the fun of movie fights is here without the dumbness of us having to actually argue about Batman scenes and points. Just let's talk about Disney funerals, baby. Let's see. David Palmer says, just put my body in the corner with the recycling.
Dream big, man.
Yeah, dream a little bigger. Look, hang on. Let's hit pause, actually. David Palmer, you're worth more than the corner with the recycling. You are.
You could be eaten by a Baloo.
Yeah,
you could have a Jungle Book themed funeral where your corpse is eaten by Baloo. There you go.
You deserve to actually be buried in the Haunted Mansion graveyard, David. Like that's your level. Dream big for that death, and dream big for your worth, David. You're worth more than the recycling in the corner. I don't want to see that.
They could drop you off the Peter Pan ride, and it turns out it's not forced perspective. You actually are that high up in the sky, and you fall to your death.
I also think it'd be fun to just have my body put through Soarin', where you're put in the fake airplane and just have my limbs dangling.
Oh, Soarin', yes.
Yeah.
I just thought of a joke that was too hot for SJU. We're gonna do that in the deleted scenes.
Send it to me in this chat. Seattle KO. Says this, and again, Spencer, like your request earlier, this is more of a Make-A-Wish and less of a funeral thing. But maybe it is a funeral thing if you have a talented enough mortician. But he says, I want to be holding Walt's head in my stomach like Krang from the MNC.
This is no time for your weird fetish.
We're talking about something very serious.
I respect it.
But we're talking about saying goodbye to our loved ones who also really love Disney. Let me ask you this, Spencer, because we talk a lot about the age of slowed down Disney songs for Marvel trailers. Mm-hmm. I feel like a Disney funeral has to have Disney music. What are the Disney songs?
Yeah, good point. You could do like a haunting rendition of like "Be My Guest" or "Be Our Guest," right? Yeah. Because that's kind of like they're welcoming you to hell. Let's see, what else could we do? Gosh, I don't know what. Let me think of more Disney songs. I'm not a real Disney music guy, so Joe, we'll go back and forth. You give me one now.
I don't know if it's just because it's been a Mulan year, but "Be a Man" popped up. I don't know why, but I do. Well, you know what? I do think it'd be funny if he jumped out and was like, "Let's get down to business," and Joe. That could be fun. Yeah, "Be a Man," a Barry Joe montage. Barry Joe.
Barry Joe. Oh, you get to do alternate lyrics.
Yeah, you can absolutely. It's your funeral, man. That might be an all.
It's your funeral, baby.
It might be an all expense, but that's your funeral, yeah.
I mean, Under the Sea would work if they were just throwing me overboard, on a ship, on a Disney cruise. Because I caught some disease on the cruise ship and they didn't want liability, so they just threw me overboard and played Under the Sea and saluted.
Sarcastically sung "One Jump Ahead." Could be fun. That could be solid. Man, yeah, it's tough. You know what? Honestly, I think my honest answer would be "Oodalali."
Which one's that?
From the Fox Robin Hood.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Actually, just all the songs from Robin Hood, I think, would be what I want played at my funeral, just so everyone's like, I don't know, a little more mellow. Because those are definitely like, let's just smoke a bowl and then sit back and just be chill about this kind of vibe songs. And that's what I want at my funeral as they watch me the ice sculpture melt.
Yeah, I guess you could just play like any of the generic Avengers music while your coffin's slowly going into the ground. I think that'd be sort of appropriate. And
they do the circle shot.
Yeah,
around your coffin.
Yeah,
I'm into that. Jemima says, my Disney themed funeral will be my ashes made into the fireworks that are lit up over Cinderella's castle.
There you go. Go out with a bang.
Yeah, absolutely. Go out with a bang. Be a health risk to all the guests, like you can be now at the parks in your life. I do think being in a firework in general would be dope. But yeah, being a part of the fireworks show at Disney would be very, very cool. Let's see if anybody's got. Let's see. Dave Baraka says, "Is it too obvious to want to be buried in the Haunted Mansion cemetery with a witty remark on the tombstone?" Obvious is not bad.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
that's perfect. Yeah. Then you get to dance for eternity in that ballroom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, your ghost actually goes into the ballroom. I think that's a pretty sweet deal, honestly. Jemima also says Hamilton's on Disney Plus now, so I have everyone dress up like the founding fathers and the original Hamilton cast perform.
If you mix my ashes with gunpowder and then shoot one of the people in the halls of presidents, that's fine with me.
just put my body in the hall of presidents and see if people notice. Yeah. Just put it on string so that I'm kind of like,
yeah, that's Millard Fillmore.
Good old President Millard Fillmore. Fluffy Pro, great choice. Poor Unfortunate Soul.
Yeah,
solid choice for your funeral music. Backlash 225 wants a rock version of "Remember Me" from Coco. Honestly, a Coco themed funeral. Well, we can't have a Coco themed funeral. I think that would be cultural appropriation for us. The last thing I want is a problematic funeral.
You're canceled. Oh, you're dead. Oh, whoops.
And my last words are "my bad."
Death has not stopped people from being canceled, by the way.
That's fair. Yeah. That's completely fair. Let's see here. Any other? Oh, Rob Turner says, I want to dance with the chimney sweeps a la Weekend at Bernie's. And Step in Time.
Step in Time.
That's horrible. I love finding out how twisted all of our fans are. That's so good. That's so good. Russell Howe says, just put my body in a Mickey Mouse costume and throw it in the middle of the theme park. Ugh.
Yeah, just see how long it takes for people to
just see how long it takes for people to notice. Good. Let's see here. Okay, so we've got sort of our songs down. Is there a instead of just characters showing up? I mean, you sort of cover this with your Iron Man funeral, but like I think you could do like whole scenery enactments if you wanted, either around the I don't know if your body's involved or they're just around like the service. Or whatever. I'm just saying the a la carte here is like really intense and premium for Disney. Like they can really come back this year with this.
So yeah, I mean, as far as scene reenactments go, one thing that I would consider doing is inviting all my haters, instead of my loved ones, and then have someone in a Mulan getup trigger an avalanche that buries us all Pharaoh style, so they all go down with me.
Yeah, that's actually really solid. I just realized who I wish we had here to consult about this would be Mike Carlson.
He would know how to put together a good Disney funeral.
Yeah, Mike Carlson and Jenny Nicholson, I think, would really know how to put together some solid Disney funerals. And you know what? Consulting gigs for them. Independent contracting is rough right now. Have someone throw you a few bucks to be the independent consultant for your Disney funeral, I think, is it's really solid.
They could both officiate.
Oh, that'd be great. Actually, yeah, I want Mike Carlson to officiate my funeral. That would be amazing. Especially because we don't know each other quite that well for him to do it. Would be incredible. Baritsu wants a Muppets funeral. I think that's actually pretty solid. Like the wedding in Muppets Take Manhattan, but a funeral instead. I dig it. Flick Chick corrects them and says Piggy and Kermit still have to get married at the funeral, though. I'm fine with that. I don't make the rules.
Yeah.
I'm completely okay with that. Is there a Muppet that you would never want at your funeral, Spencer?
A Muppet? I'm not so anti any of the Muppets.
That's fair.
I don't want Jack Sparrow there. That's pretty ironclad. I want no rag pirates anywhere near that special day for me.
The depthness aside, like Jack Sparrow's just I don't want that weird hobo at my funeral, like staggering around and drinking. I don't want like a weird funeral story at my funeral. Well, any weirder than it's going to be because it's a Disney funeral.
Yeah,
I don't need that guy there. Actually, have you ever had a weird funeral story? Like, there's lots of weird wedding stories. Like a crazy thing happened at a wedding. Have you ever had a crazy funeral story?
I mean, not really, although I recently went to a Zoom one.
Ooh, that's...
So aside from the weirdness of that, no, I don't have any like crazy, you won't believe this happened.
I don't really have... me not really either. Aside from one time after one, a very intense relative was like, we immediately have to start dividing up their stuff. It was like an hour later, and everyone was still sort of in the shock of the funeral. It was like, no, everyone sit down and start picking what stuff you want, because we have to do this now. Which would be even weirder, I think, with a hardcore Disney fan.
That would get contentious fast. Yeah, it's like, that
would get so contentious so fast.
It's a rare Emperor's New Groove ribbon or whatever they collect.
I need that Kronk pin. Yeah. Rob Turner says that his trousers fell down at a wedding.
Is he Mr. Bean?
Rob with the physical comedy. Rob, we want more details of that story, please, if you don't mind. Yeah, man. Princess and the Frog, I think, easy theme for a funeral. New Orleans jazz funerals are cool looking anyway. They have a big parade and a brass section plays some cool music, and then everyone gets drunk in the street, and that seems like a pretty good way to go.
Solid.
Spencer, I think we've done this to death.
I see what you did there.
Hey.
All right, now let's talk about Star Wars funerals. What's our Star Wars funeral?
Star Wars.
We're gonna be doing this every week, Joe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a Star Wars funeral. I just want the magic illusion of disappearing from my clothes. Right?
Yes. Yeah. definitely.
Or being thrown into a bottomless pit.
And I want real Ewoks dancing. And
none of this fake crap.
None of this fake crap. I want the real thing.
Actual humanoid bears. Actually, that would be a dope funeral if a person in like a 7'4" Darth Vader suit like bear hugged your body and went no and cast you into a pit. That'd be a way to go, man.
I'd like that.
I'd be 100% into that. So bottomless pits, Ewoks.
Yes, and if Ewoks are unavailable, they can be. Yeah, I want you to train dogs and/or baby bears to sing Yub Nub.
Can I come to your funeral? And can it be soon? Guys, that's our Disney funeral. Let us know in the comments what your Disney funeral would be. We're very anxious for these comments to get as weird as possible. Thank you guys for liking and subscribing and hitting the bell. You're the reason why we got to have this conversation. So it's your fault if you look at it that way. But today's not only about funerals because we also got to talk to you about trivia. We're doing another Fandom 5 this Friday. It's DC movie themed. There's details in the description. RSVP to come check that out and participate. It's super fun. You win real money for knowing questions about Batman movies. It's great. It's going to cover all era of live action DC films, the Nolan trilogy, the other Batman movies, the DCEU. I don't know, maybe even a little bit of Supergirl. I wouldn't put it past Lon. I would not put it past Lon at all. And probably a lot of weirdly specific questions about how much Lon did not like Wonder Woman 84. In Lon's opinion, question 3. So guys, make sure you check that out. It's always a ton of fun. Let me see. I think we have a couple of fan questions, and then we have a sweet junket treat for you guys. Spencer, do you have any questions?
Do I have any questions?
Yeah.
Can we end the show early?
I mean, we absolutely can. Yeah. I don't really see any fan questions in the chat. Sorry, we're sort of a producer short, so I'm pulling it all. A question. Med asks, "What's your favorite sports movies, especially winter sports?"
Especially winter sports. Ski school.
Ski
School 2.
It begins and ends at Ski School
Patrol.
1 and 2. Ski Patrol. Hot Dogs.
The Cutting Edge is a really good cheesy 80s figure skating movie. You might appreciate that. Slapshot is probably the only great hockey comedy ever made. Although I haven't seen Goon. I hear good things about Goon.
Goon is apparently really good. What's the Disney one with Kurt Russell about the U.S. Olympic
Miracle
team?
Yeah,
Miracle.
Different vibe from Slapshot, but that's nice.
Different vibe from Slapshot.
Similarly, Johnny Tsunami, he's a surfer from Hawaii who moves to the mountains, got to learn to snowboard. Uh-oh.
How's that even possible?
Board's a board, Joe.
Yeah. I mean,
Cool Runnings. Thank you.
Cool
Thank
Runnings.
you.
Cool Runnings. There it is.
Can't beat that.
No. Yeah. Cool Runnings. The first Mighty Ducks. Nothing like a court making an alcoholic with rage issues take care of children.
That'll learn them.
You gotta learn them kids.
He's coming back. There's the reboot coming with Gordon Bombay. Can you believe it?
Yeah, coming soon on Disney Plus. Well, that's a great Disney funeral. Just everyone chanting quack as I'm lowered into the ground.
Yeah, as they push us off in an ice flow.
Yeah, exactly. That's fantastic. Okay, let's close on this. Enough Hobbs asks, how do you take well, actually, this is a good question for you, Spencer. You're a coffee guy. How do you take your coffee? What's your ideal cup of coffee?
I've scaled way back on coffee to just becoming like an as necessary thing. Like I used to drink, not crazy, like 2 cups a day. But when I was in my prime, black with maybe a lump of sugar, maybe. And I would make it in I'm fancy, so I'd make it in a French press every morning. So I'd it's fancy, but it's also cheap and easy because like you just put the grounds in the hot water and then you wait 4 or 5 minutes and it's done for the day. French press with maybe a little sugar, depending on the bean.
That was one of my first one-on-one experiences with you, if I remember correctly. In the old days, in the Defy office, it was just you and me in the office that day, and you were like, "You want some coffee?" And you had a drawer dedicated to your French press, and you
ooh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, those are the days, man. Have you ever had his follow-up question is about? Sorry, my cat lost her mind. His follow-up question is about putting butter in your coffee. Have you ever done this?
Butter coffee? Yeah. Look, I mean, I understand it works, but it's so annoying that it's like the Silicon Valley tech bro mindset where it's like, we just changed the game and we're gonna blow your mind. Like, you can just have this special patented bulletproof coffee recipe that's gonna like totally be it's disrupted the meal game. And it's like, yeah, if you put an enormous amount of butter in your coffee, like you're gonna feel a little bit more full than you would if you didn't have butter in your coffee. It's like it's amazing how this satisfies me, and like I don't have those hunger pangs. It's like because you just put a lump of butter in your drink.
Yeah, I'm going to throw this out there, tech bros, as someone from the South. If you put butter in things, weird, it tastes better. That's why, like, every Southern cook is like, here's your veggies, and it's like a green bean, like, sitting on top of a slowly melting pad of butter. Because it's butter. It's good.
Look, like, I'm not against it. It definitely works if you don't want to eat. You can drink and you want to feel energized. You can drink coffee with a big scoop of butter in it, but like, don't pretend like you just invented the computer.
Yeah, no, please. And speaking of sort of inventing the computer, TN asks, would love it if you guys had a segment about good movies you watched, whether they're recent movies or not. To which I say, like, is this a movie channel?
What kind of movie channel do you think this is?
What are you guys thinking? Have you watched? I did just.
Sure, I can name good movies that I've watched recently if that's what you really want in your movie channel.
Give me one.
I recently watched for the second time and had so much more appreciation for it is Casino. Casino might be my favorite Scorsese at this point. I know it's like 3 hours long, but so is Wonder Woman 1984, and this one is even more bright and neon filled than that movie. So if you wish Goodfellas was longer and with more neon and had more Joe Pesci induced violence, then Casino, I think, is probably my favorite mob movie after my rewatch.
I'm listening. That's that right on. Solid take and a good sell. I just watched Wolfwalkers on Apple Plus or Premium or Red Carpet or whatever the Apple streaming service is called. I can't remember off the top of my head because I'm too busy thinking about which Disney character is going to put butter in my coffee when I die. But it's super sweet. It's the studio that did that's done a couple of shorts and stuff now. I call them Irish Miyazaki. They're it's very sort of similar, like focusing on like young people and very sweet, very imaginative, very like visually interesting with really good music. But it as opposed to being based in like Japanese philosophies and spirituality and myths and stuff, it seems like they're just going like full Celtic stuff. So I absolutely recommend that. It's super great. Throwback hand-drawn animation. Totally worth watching. Spencer, you got any other good ones, or shall we get to this junket?
Let's get to this junket, man. What's the junket for?
Let's get into this junket, dude. Speaking of Apple, Dickinson, also actually quite good and worth watching. Season 2 premieres Friday, and Eric talked to Hawkeye herself, Hailee Steinfeld, about what to expect about season 2. And then, of course, how it felt to be able to finally stop pretending after 15 months that she was not Hawkeye. So let's see what she had to say to Eric. And make sure you guys watch Dickinson, because it's actually super fun. Check this out. Thanks, guys.
Sometimes when I write, I lose control.
Season 2, you're really focusing here a lot on Emily's struggle with the possibility of fame and whether she should embrace it or run away from it. So for you, who's been a public figure from a pretty young age, How much did that feel very relatable? And what advice would you give Emily about the pros and cons of fame?
I feel like as far as advice, I don't know that I've got it because I'm still trying to figure out exactly what it is and what it means. And it's all kind of a weird thing. I think if this season has challenged me in any way, it was to think about this in depth because I had never done that really before. I guess it would just be like, if you're content with where you're at and sharing your poems, right, with the one person, share them with the other people that are closest to you. But if you choose to open yourself up to the world, then you're opening up to sort of a world of judgment and opinions, and that can, result in self-doubt and anxiety, which it does for her. And she realizes that sort of results back to what she feels most comfortable with.
I always love your poems, but I can't be your only reader anymore.
Emily and Sue is this big dynamic on the show. In this season, as it begins, how is she dealing with it? Is she sort of just trying to compartmentalize it so she won't dwell on it and the fact that they are not together?
The idea of Sue having married her brother is not something I think she'll ever really come to terms with. She has her moments where she realizes that that's best, and it's kept her a part of her family, and she's found sort of the best in it. But it's definitely hard for her. This is the one person that she feels sees her and understands her. And now in season 2, she couldn't feel farther from that. Now all of a sudden Sue is throwing these parties and she's dressing in these beautiful gowns and living this life that when Emily and Sue were young, they sort of agreed on to never live. And now here she is doing it. And it's really confusing for Emily.
What if I don't want fame?
How do you want to be remembered?
This show has a lot of fun with the language and putting in modern language intertwined with what we call a costume drama. Is that a really fun element for you?
So fun. I mean, it's great to be able to sort of use that as a better understanding too of what this show is and what these characters might have been feeling. It makes it feel relatable and relevant. That, we've always toyed with the idea that people don't necessarily think they would have spoken like that, but why not? Like what would have kept them from speaking the way we speak?
A quiet night in, baby. Novels and chill.
How thrilling is it after, I think, about 15 months to be able to admit you're Kate Bishop? I feel like you had kept that secret longer than anyone.
Yeah, that sucks. It's amazing. My God, to finally be able to confirm. It's such an honor, my goodness, to be playing this role. I'm so excited about it. It feels so wonderful to be back at work. I feel so grateful. It's been a very crazy year of not knowing if that was going to happen for a while. So happy to be back at work and playing this character. It's going to be really fun. I'm excited for people to see it. I'm excited to see it.
Whoa, what? It's like your brain is on fire.
Oh, that tracks.